Well, what is a crisis? In this presentation, I'm going to define crisis based on a definition from the book Effective Crisis Communication, Moving from Crisis to Opportunity. The authors show the Chinese symbol for crisis, which literally means a dangerous opportunity. There are three characteristics of crises. One is surprise, threat is a second, and the third is a short response time. Even naturally occurring events such as floods, earthquakes, and forest fires do not escalate to the level of crisis unless they come at a time or a level of intensity beyond the expectations of government officials and residents. So, according to the authors, surprise is an important element of crisis. Threat is also an important element. All crises create threatening circumstances that reach beyond the typical problems organizations face. And finally, there's a short response time. The threatening nature of crises means that they must be addressed quickly. The authors provide a working definition that relates to organizations. An organization crisis is a specific, unexpected, and non-routine event or series of events that create high levels of uncertainty and threaten or are perceived to threaten an organization's high priority goals. The key words there, it's unexpected, it's non-routine, there's uncertainty, it threatens and affects the high priority goals of the organization. There are two kinds of crises, intentional crises and a second kind, unintentional crises. Examples of intentional crises are terrorism, sabotage, workplace violence, poor employee relationships. All of these things cause intentional crises. Poor risk management can in fact lead to an intentional crisis. Hostile takeovers of organizations can lead to crises. Unethical leadership is another problem that exists that can lead to crisis. In fact, whenever there's a leadership crisis, it's very often related to unethical types of practices. The kinds of unintentional crises are things like natural disasters, disease outbreaks, technical problems that are unanticipated, a product failure that's not planned for, and economic downturns. Crises are best handled by effective and consistent communication. In doing this, we need to manage uncertainty. We need to speak with a consistent voice, identify the cause, contact those that are affected, and determine current and future risks that are related to the crisis. In responding to the crisis, we need to reduce uncertainty, coordinate activities, and disseminate information. To provide effective and consistent communication in resolving the crisis, it may involve compensating victims, renewing the organization's reputation, in the future grieving and memorializing the events. We should also, as part of effective and consistent communication, learn from the crisis. We do this by enhancing safety and prevention, reviewing industrial standards, and enhancing community dialogue. For those of us that are involved in crisis management, emergency management, and crisis communication, this is good news for us. There will be more crises in the future. How is this possible? Well, because of the growth in population, our dependence of technology, and dependence on organizations. We're all part of a global community. A crisis that happens somewhere else in our world